Hey y'all, what's going on? Happy Thursday. Happy fall, right? Isn't it officially fall? Last week, I'm not fussing, but I'm fussing a little bit. Last week, y'all really let me forget to wish y'all a happy Hispanic Heritage Month. It had just started that day before last week. So last Wednesday, the 15th, we met. We had our show on the 16th, but here we are. And then also happy Suicide Prevention Month. I'm not going to say that's the most important out of all of them, but happy Suicide Prevention Month. I just want to say in this moment, I am happy to still be here myself, and I am overjoyed that you are still here. If you have ever even considered, ever even struggled with an ideation, or for you to spread it onto anyone that you may or you may know of, or maybe even have a hint or a hunch. And then I also I would be remiss not to mention for any of those, too many of those that we have lost due to suicide. So I share in grief with you if you have experienced a loss by way of suicide. My heart and my thoughts are with you. I send you light, love, and peace and comfort. Okay? Can I do that? Is that all right? Okay. Welcome or welcome back to another episode of the B Mix right here only on BeExposedRadio.com. You already know what Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time are for. Who therefore, rather, the unseen, the unheard, the overlooked, the forgotten, whether it be the forgotten part of you or for the person that does not belong anywhere, me, be. So welcome. Y'all, listen. Now, I said, this is what I said now. I'm gonna tell you what I had said. Now, who did I say it to? Benia. I said it to Benia. Now, y'all see me trying to fix my life. Look at the one. Don't make no sense. Oh, wow. That's because it was in that short. Look at I pulled it that's longer. Hey, length check. Period. All right. Well, we're not going to, because they trying to show off right now and I don't have time. I know I'll be just coming on here anyway. And I enjoy that. One of these days I'm going to do something for y'all, like look like something. But I'll be enjoying this right here. Okay. We're going to do this. Okay. We're not going to keep fighting with them because they really trying to, All right, for real. All right, we stay focused. That was my point, that I said I was sticking to my notes tonight. I know I probably said that a couple times, couple weeks, couple months, couple shows, probably didn't. But I'm really going to try today because I actually have some extensive notes, y'all, for real. When I say I was on the toilet one time, earlier this week, listen, that's just where he spoke to me. Yeah, man. It's the way he speaks to me often. It's like our office, but we don't have to get into it. Y'all know I'm TMI queen. So y'all listen, it just started flowing to me, like flowing from, all right, my heart. Song is on me. I was going to sing it. But I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna just leave it, but just know it's on me, so it might come back. Anywho, I missed y'all. It's only been a week, but I missed y'all. I'm in better spirits, y'all. I did some cleaning today. I got in a good cleaning flow. I got some more cleaning to do. I probably told y'all last week I was gonna clean. What I probably definitely said was that I was supposed to clean. I thought about cleaning heavily, and now I actually did it. So I think I'll feel lighter, fluffier. Definitely not lighter. Bloated. Moving on. I'm sticking to my notes tonight. I ain't gonna say I promise, but I'm my plan. Okay, the goal is to stick to them. So our topic for tonight is the following: how's your resume working for you? How's it working for you? Now, this is the thing. In this day and age, we know we should definitely be talking resumes anyway. Okay. Just because here, do we have ample opportunity to explore probably endless possibilities now of different or either establishing or reestablishing our paths, our career paths, just what we should do, where we should find our hands working, where our feet should travel. And I don't know about y'all, but I can be feeling pretty lost out here. Okay. And so y'all know I'm a believer. So always am I seeking, like, God, listen, I know because you told me so. You said that you got in my path, that you already, had my path in mind before you created me and formed me in my mother's womb. Like, you said that. I'm getting to some of my notes a little bit because I'm sure I mentioned that somewhere. But, I'm not going to keep picking with my hair. I'm going to leave it because I was just proud because I actually pulled it up into a little something. And okay, moving on. And so I be feeling lost. So I be needing like, Lord, can you go ahead and light the way? Like, which way am I fitting to go? Which way am I supposed to go? And then it always boils down to which way you fitting to go, right? Even once you've been led, you've been shown, it's been revealed, or you got a hunch. We still choose paths. The crazy part is, though, I mentioned all of that, and none of that per se that's not really where we're going. Kind of, but not really, right? So that's why I'm really sticking to my notes, because I really want to stick to what it is that I had in mind before I even think to take this topic to a whole different way. But it was like to segue us into, of course, just we think of resumes, and while we really should be beyond the age of things, we think of resume like, that's boring. I don't want to do that work. I used to be able to, and I only say used to because I feel like I'm pretty sure if I just jumping back into it, I think I would be rusty because I don't know the last time I've looked up any like trending, resume like tactics or resume hints or, just helpful, whatever, guides rather, templates. Because, it changes over the time of year. We learn, I said over the time of year, over the course of, years. And so we learned that employers are looking for, different things. We know that the way that it used to be all just hand to hand, coming in hand with a resume. But now we know we are sending them electronically. We know by sending them electronically, it's not just email. That's not just, from you to one other person. It's being uploaded and generated and sifted out, by these the beings that may be, I don't know, all on the internet, right? And so, they're like keywords and key phrases and just things that they're looking at and sifting out because there are so many being uploaded at any given time. We're talking the World Wide Web, right? And so, but I really used to be able to write resumes like in my sleep. Like I was so good at it. Like I will never forget. Whenever I talk about resumes, I always bring the story up. So never talk about it. If we've talked about it before, you probably heard the story. I don't know. I don't really recall mentioning this story though on the B Mix at all. But if we ever talk about resumes again, I'm pretty sure the stories won't come back up. I'm turning to that aunt. So just get over it on Nene in full effect. Y'all, I legit remember working for a work program. I was a business service rep. I think that was the whole title. I know it was the business representative. Small details. And so a lot of what I did, my job was I have always, remember that I said this, I have always worked in or held a position or worked in the capacity of like a twofold operation just around my duties, responsibilities, and expectations. Like even if it wasn't in my actual job description, like it's always been, so prime example in this particular scenario. So I think it was business service rep. And so as the business service rep, the main piece of my work was really to build, either establish, reestablish, or just build and maintain sustainable partnerships and relationships between employers and our company, our organization, in order for the job seekers that we're working for. We strictly only work with those that are receiving TCA. So TCA recipients that do through like DSS and all that, they have to be signed up with a work program to say that I am actively looking for work in order for me to receive my TCA benefits, and the like, right? And so that was like the biggest thing. So I remember I think like first week I got in like the full franchise of this one company, just all of this. So it was like, I held that part down. And so on top of that though, the other half of it was that also in person, like in the office, right? Because I was always out in the field. I was out in the field a lot, obviously like building or reestablishing those relationships, right? I'm going somewhere with this, I promise. And so, the other part of it, like I said, in-house, right? So in the office, like the TCA recipients were in there. So the work program, they actually had to fulfill 40 hours a week as if they were working. So we had to sift out any barriers that they had. If they needed childcare, they had to, we had to get that. To get that taken care of, just a lot of things, right? And so in there, because they were going through like classes and job readiness is what it's called. And so there were classes that I had to teach on different topics and then bringing them the different opportunities and job opportunities that I had for them and then would have to work with them one-on-one. Of course, definitely including like resume building, writing, or whatever. All of that to say that I will never, ever, ever, ever forget. There was this young lady. I'm gonna stick with young. I literally know exactly what she is, but this young lady worked with, and she. I don't want to say it in this way because I don't want y'all to take it away. You got it? You okay? Okay. She came down to get her princess dress, her book bag full of ponies, and her suitcase because this is a jet setter. You just hear it banging up the steps. There it is, just taking the suitcase up each step. We got like 15 steps because it's the regular 12, and then you turn and it's come. She's up there. Okay. And so, you okay? Sorry. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of just doom. And so, but I also heard her move afterward. Just I ain't hear her respond back. I know she's moving. I hear feet, and no crying. So we're fine. Moving on. So this young lady, I wanted to really, in my lack for better words, I wanted to say like one of the worst case scenarios that I had, as in like she had all barriers across the board, all barriers that we tried. Like some clients would have, or customers would have, a few of the barriers that we were there to address. And she had literally all of them. So she was experiencing homelessness. There was in one day, I remember, as I know she was also, I believe, trying to get children back. Right. Okay. So, she was trying to get children back, but mostly in one day, because she was experiencing homelessness, she needed to come in. We were getting her ready I had set up a job interview for her. We got her clothes. We had to get her feminine and just hygiene, like toiletries. We had to let her use the bathroom up in the executive suite of the building, like not just our, like it was, and just to get her together, because I had worked with her to write a resume, and the only job reference that she had was that she was a stripper at the one of those right in the middle of, I think, Shea Joey. I remember so many details about it, for 21 years. I'm only mentioning this here because it just comes to mind, and it probably could be so off. And I wonder, like, if this was to ever get to her, I would never want her to take offense to it. But when you think of stripper, right, you usually think like somebody just body, like, okay, girl, you was a stripper and it worked for you, okay. My mama did not. She was so slim, and I mean, she didn't have like any of the assets that you would, just automatically think of as a stripper. And so in my mind, it was like, that's the Maui, hello. Okay. Okay, move. Cut it out. We're licking the chair. Disgusting. So yeah. And so in my mind, it felt like it was just a little harder than as hard as it was, because it's like, I gotta sell this that, you're gonna go into anywhere. But long story short, I got her connected with a job interview for that day. She got the job, and just her whole life, she had like all that crazy. Good feeling though. Y'all, didn't I fuss about how y'all let me forget to wish y'all happy stuff for last week? Y'all let me forget to share with y'all what I love to share. Not that I love that it happened, but just love to keep us aware of our moment of a history of racial injustice. And then I swear, on straight to notes, promise. From Equal Justice Initiative for today, September 23rd, in 1955, white jurors in Mississippi acquit Roy Bryant and J.W. Millam in Emmett Till murder. Definitely could not skip that one. Continue to rest in peace, Emmett Till, to his family and anyone still living, especially in direct relation to him or anyone affected by that, which I really want to, I think it's safe to say all of us in a bit. If you're not moved by the story of Emmett Till, I question if you have a heart. I really don't care what color you are. So yeah, they were acquitted today and his killers in 1955. Not too long ago, by the way. Okay. Just wanted to put that out there. My mother was born in 1957. She's 63 this year. So a little about 65 years ago, something like that, give or take. Okay. All right, y'all, for real. So back to our, like I said, our topic for today is how's your resume working for you, right? So when I started thinking about this and just how it was deposited into me, I smile because that's like the word for today's show. Just hear beads. She's just coming down the steps all heavy. You all right? Okay. I'm just getting heels or something. She's getting dressed. She's not in bed. That's the only point. Okay. Oh, good job. You got your scepter. Did you finish drinking your juice? No? Okay. Remember, when you finish drinking juice, make sure you go potty, please. Potty and brush teeth. Thank you. Just mothering on the job. All right. So like I was saying, the word that kept coming to me and sticking out was deposit, right? As this lesson, these notes that were being deposited into me, right? So each deposit is equivalent to your ordered step. So when you think of your resume, we got examples of them, you know what I mean, that you can look at, whether if your resume looks like that or not. Just when you think of the different places that you have worked, and we're just going to stick with that for a second, but it was not where we're staying tonight. When you think of different places you've worked, and shout out to my good sis Jazz, I'm telling you, because we talked about this recently, and I told her, it was either earlier this week or maybe have been last week, but one of the last times that we talked, I was like, oh my gosh, like I plan to talk about this like on the show, like this is crazy. So shout out to her, always give credit where it's due. I would never want anybody to be like, girl, wait, no, we was just talking about that, what's going on? But when you think of any place that you have worked, you know, whether if you are proud of it, there is, it makes me think of, I've told you before, didn't I say, yeah, I told you about the last guy that I like met, whatever. I don't think I told you where though. I literally, out of boredom, and I'm talking about it's so seldom, y'all, in the we can say 2 years now, about 2 years that we've been in the pandemic season. And I think I haven't been on there that long, right? Facebook dating, I hadn't even said it what I was talking about. So like online dating or whatever. I told y'all before to try to think like, well, I know one for sure, maybe like two other like apps or whatever that I don't, one I remember the name of, the other one I definitely don't. I don't even have them on my phone anymore. I wonder those, I'm scared, like, Lord, what does my profile say? Hopefully ain't nobody out here making fun of me, but I digress. I'm pretty sure it says some like lovey-dovey stuff like, just, you know, whatever, looking for love or something. And I am not anymore. That is, my answer is totally different to that now. Even with the messages that'll pop up like on the Facebook thing, it's the only one, like I said, seldomly that I'll hop on out of pure boredom. And like see like some messages, respond maybe to some of them, but then it'd be like too much because it's like so many coming in. I ain't bragging at all, trust me. Because if it was so many like prospects, like okay, I really like these, then maybe I'd be like, but no, ain't gone out with a nail Anea. I told y'all the last one. Yo literally has my last name. Same last name. And then said his other family name is the same as my mother's maiden name. Bro, no, not dating Richardson or Jones. Thanks. So like it just feels thank you. It feels weird, and it could, right? Like it could be just a tidbit for a second to stick here with the online dating and like dating someone, or even maybe I say pursuing, but I'm not doing the pursuing. Let me go back to that point about that. When I get the messages, or have gotten plenty of messages to say, oh, just about all the same, I'm just like, what are you on here looking for, whatever. And I respond the same, because it has to weed out the fact that I am not looking. I'm not. I was joking with my sister Andre earlier, like, listen, I don't want to keep in this atmosphere because I really don't want to believe that. I don't even think it's true, but y'all might want to settle in, and I'm going to be the friend of single forever. Like, I'm not looking. He is going to have to come to me, and it's going to have to just feel like, okay, I should definitely like sign up for this ride, right? And so when I see these messages, right, that'll be like, oh, what are you looking for immediately? And it's not even to be like too much or whatever, but I'm just being me. It's like, oh, I'm not looking. Like I think I probably put, like, as I try to put it in short, not to be like this paragraph to go on about it, but I'm actually not looking. I'm happy, how I am. But listen, I know exactly how to answer that question. This is how I answer it. Matter of fact, hold on, I should go. It's probably gonna take a while because I don't remember who I've talked to, who I've like said it to. God, I'm on here. Oh God, see, too many. I'll hop on here and be like, oh, I would have responded, but it's too many. I'm not. Let me see. I'm not. Nope. Dang, the one I thought I would have been able to get to quicker. Yeah, I don't know. What? No. What's your sign? No. Oh, okay. Here's one. This one. They're always used on lines like, "Why are you single?" or "What are you looking for?" See, the "What are you looking for" is a little easier, but I think this one I answered how "Why are you single?" It was like the right one hasn't found me yet. The one that can actually handle all of who and what I am, right? But like it's always along those lines. That's my response. Like I'm not looking. I did say like it always mentions something like, I clear the path with like I understand that, he could come from like anywhere, right? Because I really don't know like who he is. And so like I'm on here like, why not kind of thing. But it's like I ain't taking this too seriously. I can tell you that. Either whom. So that's the question of when the person, the first one I asked was why. That one was, why am I single? But like the answer to like what am I on here looking for, I always say like make it clear like I'm not looking. Like as in the right one would figure out, like if he was one of those to ask me that and I answer to say I'm not looking, then you would think like, oh, okay, I need to pursue her, like actively pursue her, and not back to the point of like it being weird, of not make it weird. Like it's already weird or off or different just to meet somebody on. I don't care. I know we're in 2021. I get it. Some people have fallen completely in love and they're in great relationships and marriages and all of that from that, but it's still a weird thing. Like just to meet some of this internet stuff, like, like, no. Like I said, I don't believe in it, but just understand it's the same thing as far as like we're women, where we have to take this defense automatically, unfortunately, just because of so many like creepers that, have shot their shot, have maybe been wow. Okay, so hey mommy, I just read a comment. My mother, Adrian, says that my father called me on his, called her on his breaks at work, and said that a young guy, because I love older people that was gotta. Oh Lord, didn't I say young something earlier? Oh, Jesus. All right, I'm old too. It's fine. She said that he said a young guy on his job was filling out an application, and he asked my dad, how do you spell GED? Back to the point. That rolls right in. I'm gonna work this, because all of that is all in one for me. That I try to, in my brain, like when you go through, the swiping thing, like I have my days. I'm gonna take a little minute for this, y'all. And I'm telling you, I'm going to my notes. But Like I have my days where like if I, swipe sometimes or whatever, now that I'm talking about it, tonight might be a night where I'm just on there, but doubt it because I got stuff to do. But that, swiping, and it could be a day where I was like, I think I mentioned you, I don't know, I've been having a lot of conversations. And so where I've mentioned like it's not that I'm not attracted to men anymore. I know that's not the case, but it's like my eyes aren't like, okay, like even where I see someone that I know either the old me or that most women would probably, find attractive, or just most people, just to any eye that this person might be attractive, right? And like, I'm not moved. Like, ain't nothing, ain't no womb, ain't no, I don't know. It's crazy, and I love it because I know it's like it's a healthy place. It's not like don't touch me. Ain't nobody good enough. It's just like I'm good. It's like I don't know. I probably didn't do that any justice. But so like I'll have my days where like I'm swiping and it's like it's only based on looks though. So sometimes I might go, okay, it's cute, okay. Sometimes like I actually, most of the times really, I think all the time I go through and at least read like the little bio or whatever because I gotta feel. And so most times I'm still sticking to I don't want anybody with children. I know I have a child. I totally get it. I know that I have a lot of children in my life, but we can get into that. Well, I'll probably have a whole thing about that because I really want to kind of talk about dating anyway. I really want to talk about marriage, honestly, just like preparation for that. I've been wanting to get to that for a while, but I opened this month with I did not forget y'all. Testimony Thursday. I get it. Plan to bring that back next week. But yeah, so I'll get into like the marriage thing, but because I'm really trying to get this back to my notes, but I gotta finish this. So, so like I said, I have my days swipe, whatever, based on looks or like, oh, he has kids. No, don't matter. Look like, don't matter. And then I have my days where I actually really care about the height thing. Sometimes I'm like, wow, he seems like kind of decent. I'm like, oh, he's not as tall, as I would hope. So, but I have my times with, no, we got to be such and such taller than, whatever. My shallow days be on and off. So that's really when I be like, yeah, you need to be off of here because no, I don't even care. I don't even think it's gonna happen this way, bro. So, but all of that because of even things like this, where like I read into like the bios where I know some people shorthand or, but you can kind of tell like, okay, so you're really not a speller or you really don't care about grammar. You really don't care about punctuation, like things like that. Like, because there could very well be somebody that you're really into and meet. And then they out here asking somebody how to spell GED. Like, and would want to take offense. They're like, oh, you making fun of because I have a GED? No. I want you to be able to spell it. That's all. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. And so even back to the point of, like I said, like just for like women, as far as what's the statistic? By the age of 18, 60 or 70, between 60 and 70% of just Black women, I know, because I recently saw the statistic, between 60 and 70% of Black women by the age of 18 have been, I wish I knew where I just saw that earlier, because I didn't want to misquote it, but have been assaulted. Like, that is outrageous. You get what I'm saying? Like, or at the very least have encountered something like inappropriate. I think that's more long because I used to have that statistic on top of my mind, but the way this one was written it was relative, but a little off, a little different rather. And so either way, so it's like already I would need somebody just to understand that. Do I need you to come to me and start preaching about, I know all about the Me Too movement, or I know this, and I just let it flow, let it be easy, let it be cool. You get what I'm saying? But just consider that I'm absolutely not going to jump to do anything, especially if I'm meeting you online. Like, chill out. Like, you're honestly lucky that I'm even entertaining you here. Like, so back to that it is weird. While I embrace the word weird, in some cases, weird is weird. Okay. Whew. But I like this transition I'm about to use right now. Whether y'all like it or not, it's okay. It's all about somebody's resume, is it not? Like, off break, you don't know their resume. You don't know what it is that comes behind their name. We know that not everybody out here has letters, behind their name. You don't have LCSW. You don't have, PhD. You don't have GED. You don't have, some people don't have HS for high school for y'all. And some people don't have MS, middle school, not multiple sclerosis or something. Like, some people don't have BA and BS and all. Or some people got the BS, but it ain't the bachelor's. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's the assumption. And so even just for ourselves, because here on the B-Mix, we all about self-reflection. If everybody going back to kindergarten, not kindergarten, old people, kindergarten, okay? That also, that made me think of the kinder man. Rest in peace, man. Has anybody else heard about his passing? And then it was a little while ago. It's been years now. It's hurt. Sorry. I just thought about him. So rest in peace to the kinder man. Yeah. Okay. So sorry, y'all. Y'all know my brain. It goes off. And it made me sad. Okay. Coming back, because I'm gonna make the notes. I didn't open my text messages. We don't know people. We don't know other people. But if we were worried about, selves, so like I said, if we were worried about what we learned in, would remember and practice over and over again, what it is we learned back in kindergarten, which is, if everybody just worried about themselves, we'd be okay, right? So remember the whole idea of the teachers waiting, I'll wait, everybody be quiet, and that's when you can go to lunch, or that's when you can go to recess, and you shh, and she dropped some knowledge on you. Shout out to Miss Thomas, rest in peace. My baby. She dropped that knowledge on you. Well, if everybody would stop shushing and worry about just quieting yourself, everybody would be quiet. When I tell you that tore me up as a 5-year-old, bro, that's a genius right there. That's good. That's so good. Something that was deposited within me at 5, I'm still carrying at 31, okay, that I plan to continue on for the rest of my days and into eternity. I'm going to worry about me, not that I'm only going to worry about me, but if I focus and give a lot of energy and attention and love and self-care, on getting and keeping me together, so that way I can be a positive deposit. And when we talk about positive contributions to the, to the masses, right? To the bigger picture. And so when we talk about deposits and all of that, see how this resume building of just things, like I said earlier, where each deposit equals or equates to an ordered step, right? And so it's about intentionality. I talk often about, just as a believer, knowing that, God is intentional about making us. He's intentional about ordering our steps. He's intentional about guiding us and how he guides us. Y'all, so something that I'm sure a lot of us, I'm not going to assume all of us, but I'm sure a lot of us have seen somewhere or another, just if you follow any pages, or I don't know, explore pages or whatever, because I refer to social media a lot. And it's crazy because I'm not even on there that much. It's so crazy. In a day, I kind of hop on and off of the different ones and be like, okay, have my fix, right? And even then I'll tell myself that I've been on it too much. But I do always try to make sure that I'm getting something out of it. So I'm saving something to want to come and share on the B-Mix, or that I want to talk to somebody about or whatever. And so, like I said, just always try to make it productive, while we know that it can be very unproductive, right? So that way you can walk away from it ooh, I just wasted 3 hours laying across that bed and drawing, flipping through TikTok now. I got something though, right? I got something I'm going to share on the B-Mix. So this though, I recently saw, which I feel like a lot of us by now have seen, where it's talking about if we have it, and I'm saying that because a lot of us, I know I absolutely did not learn this anywhere in school, not even in college. I don't think even when I studied African diaspora, it doesn't come to mind. Let me say that. Let me help my professor out there, because I did have a pretty good class. The African diaspora, I just don't remember a lot of it. Sorry, Morgan. But so just learning that, our ancestors, and that the slaves used what we call, protective styles, but they used braided styles as maps, how to depict where to travel in order, to escape, right? Or how to travel, rather, in order to escape. And so they use these braided styles, like I said. And so the question is then, how did they know which way to travel? Better yet, how did they know which directions to give others from even think of the braiding process, right? So if I just take yourself back all the way back, where we know that the given of the equation is that we have been snatched literally snatched off of our homes, stolen and snatched and beaten, raped, all of that. We've been shackled. We have watched, we've laid on top of each other underneath somebody while there's people are defecating and urinating, vomiting, barely eating. We have people are dying on or around us. People have died. They have committed suicide, believing that it was better than captivity, which respect to them. Respect. Don't worry about the fact that my whole show really says respect my black dollar, respect my dollar, or respect my back. And it was my point was that because I thought I was just gonna show you respect. Okay. My apologies, stand corrected. Stolen, but sold. I thought some were stolen, some were sold, but okay, I'll take that. Thank you for keeping me together, but sold. So that by the time of where I write the slave trade. Thank you. That by the time the setting in which I'm referring to those by the time that we are here, right? So again, we're putting our mindsets in there. So by the time we are here, all of these things have taken place. And so we're here now. And so we are far away from anything that is familiar beside those that we are with, which, maybe are from different tribes and all that. So could very well not be as familiar with the folks, you ever have, and this is probably a horrible comparison, but just when I think of like school spirit, right? And so I was that person that had school spirit. So like while I was at Western, the best high school ever, see how just easily and naturally I hype it up because I will always do that. With Western, with Morgan, go Bears, but truthfully, like either one of those institutions, while inside and matriculating through them, there was, especially if I think of like Western, of course, it was like a sense of like sisterhood and all that. And so we would complain to each other about different things. We can't believe administration. Why our skirts got to be, to tip our fingers. And if it's a little shorter, I should not be sent home or this or that. Blah, blah, blah. But outside of it, baby, you couldn't say anything about Western. Don't you dare ever. It's not for you to say, right? And so, because while I could be from, one corner of the school and I'm with someone, maybe on a bus stop or something, find myself, in a not so familiar territory, and find myself with someone else though, see that, especially once we had uniforms, see that other, Western shirt, and that's being worn by somebody from another corner, but still, we're going to stand as an alliance because that's just, that's the nature. It's natural for that sense to just come over you, right? And so, like I said, with them, hey girl, you all right? Okay. Oh, nice. I don't know if I just hurt my stomach growl, but it did. It wasn't a poop. I would have told y'all. I probably would have started laughing. I digress. So, So then we're thinking of, they're from just on unfamiliar soil. Language barriers, of course, can't read the language, English language that's being spoken and read and taught, not to them, or not to us, right? Because we're them and our ancestors in this scenario. And so, but yet somehow we're able to get it to, so myself, I just came from, I escaped and got caught and came back. And I'm gonna get back to that in a second. And then I'm able to say, hey, such and such, you got to braid it, but it needs to go over to this side. It needs to cut here. Like you got to do it right? Because if these braided styles, in order to be able to camouflage them and hide our escape plan in plain sight from our master, from our oppressors, it just makes you think that there are so many different processes, right? And so again, it's from the braiding process and even to the actual application, because here it goes that, again, so in the same scenario, I've escaped, I've been caught, I've come back. And again, I'm gonna get back to that, I promise. And then, I now it's my responsibility to then convey what I've learned, what I've what I've learned, what I've gathered to someone else to be able to map this out. And then that even it takes, time and effort to do that. We've been working in the field and just doing things and working late doing labor work. And now, we have to probably rebraid somebody's hair, just all of that. What if that person was then sold to a plantation, another plantation, or just something else happened to this person? Now we have to identify someone else, like just a lot of different things to consider, right? So when we recall these tactics and just methodology, I think that in this day and age, and this is probably where the older generations have a little something on us a little bit, because I am speaking of the millennials right now. I'm not even speaking about the Generation Z right now. I think it's Z. I always want to give them the wrong letter, but I think it's Z. When the older generation, like the baby boomers, right, that generation speaking about us, they, they would say like, you don't know your history, you got to know it, you got to know where you came from in order to know where you're going, which is definitely value in that statement still to date that holds weight. I won't talk about how I just rhymed. I'm gonna leave that alone. And the fact that my niece just yesterday on the phone told me I should be a rapper. Carry on. And so when we recall these things, though, I remember even being ignorant, right? And as much as I talk about like, just Black, just yes, push for us. I've definitely been ignorant before of just like, in front of someone like, oh yeah, this happened, not meaning to be disrespectful, like not meaning to undermine and to demean and belittle the work and the effort, the blood, sweat, and tears that has gone into everything in order for us to be here, whether we know it or not. It's the thing. I always think about it. If it's something that I feel like, oh, ain't nobody sweat over this, it just means I don't know it. So I'll respect it anyway. Respect. Okay. So all of that. So like I said, from the coming back and relaying the information to be able to guide the braided style to the actual application, right? So implementation of when we gather and we go to escape, then who's the person? Because it may not be me in each group, it may not be me, the person that escaped in order to come back to tell this braided person, and for me to convey that and breaking through all these different barriers and working through, the inhumane conditions that we labored, in, and just so many different things working against us, right? And so it's like, did they just know? Possible. That's fine too. I believe that's, I do believe that that's how every great invention came about, right? I obviously believe that God spoke all these ideas to somebody, right? So it's to someone. So it's like, oh, I just woke up with this. Oh my goodness. Now, did they give God the praise and glory? Not everybody did, because especially when it comes to science, they just want to believe that it's totally out of it. But I believe God is over science, but we don't have to debate that right now. But even in that, again, back to my example of like even the failed attempts, they were necessary. They were necessary, right? The failed attempts of when back in the scenario, I escaped. And, this may have been, seeing like, oh, damn, Benia was supposed to get away. That's crazy. Now she back. They done cut her foot off. But I can't, if I escaped and made it all the way to the north or made it all the way, to freedom and never came back, not to say that it would never happen, but it wouldn't have happened, with me contributing to it. As far as me being able to come back and to, be able to say, hey, we need to rebraid this. This is not how that river comes around. You're going to have to cut left and then go around. Or, if you go straight, just all of that. And then how to get folks to be able to convey that in the different groups and the settings and all for all those that, did attempt, right? So because we're considering attempts as well when you're talking about breaking free and moving forward and making progress. And so even failed attempts is a part of the resume building process, right? And so building the resume, packing on these different deposits in order to be able to get there. So these, not necessarily chopping blocks, but stepping stones, right? And building something. And so even with our ancestors escaping, the ones that attempted and got caught, maybe it was meant or even planned out that way. I'm telling you right now, if you are still out there believing that there is no one above us all that has our plans and our steps in mind, that we just don't know of yet. Like, just when things come about and we don't know. I mean, first of all, give me a second, because I definitely meant to do this in the very beginning. Y'all, I guess the only thing I can't, because I have no words except my heart is for Haiti. Just like my heart was with everyone in Afghanistan. Like, my heart is for people. Just a moment for Haiti. I'm gonna give the moment a second. If you are not even aware of why I would feel the need to have a moment for Haiti, please look it up. Just Google Haiti. It'll come up. Get on the news. Watch it long enough just to hear them talk about Haiti or to see it scroll at the bottom. Get on social media. Type in a hashtag Haiti. Look at some of it has to be real for you. Y'all, a moment of silence for Haiti. Okay. Thank you for participating in that with me. I needed that, because when I even get to thinking about it, it's a lot. And I know it's not the only, I don't have it together yet to even talk about it out loud, y'all. It's all in my heart and in my spirit. It's disgusting to see. Oh, all right. I know it's all about being authentic and organic and raw material, but I really don't want to break down the front right now. But get up on what you know about what's going on with Haiti, because I don't even know as much, because I can't look at and read up on too much, but I know enough. I know enough to be covering them in prayer, because this is literally all I can do right now. Okay. So, with our ancestors escaping, and those that attempted and were caught and came back, even that was planned out, that there has to be someone, and whatever you call him, whatever you call it, that is above you, that you believe, that has your steps ordered, respect to you and your belief. I'll tell you right now, all of it is God. just all of it. It's fine. Everybody calls him by a different name, and he answers. That's the crazy part. He definitely looks out for us, even the people that don't call upon him at all. That's how great he is. But like I said, in order for them to be able to contribute a part of the route for the mapping and weeding out who could actually lead and relay messages and keep secret and apply pressure and know how to properly execute their part when necessary. Yes, I know I was getting to this point. This is the part I was trying to get to. When they returned after being caught, I'm sure they endured, which we know, they endured consequences for what our oppressor deemed to be wrong, for them escaping and running away in order to, seeking their freedom. That was wrong, right, in the eyes of our oppressor. And so what we have to remember, this is definitely B-tip of the week, is that our world is not one-dimensional, not even two-dimensional. It is multi-dimensional, multifaceted. That's why you, person out there somewhere that feels as though, that knows without a shadow of a doubt that you are multifaceted, that you are well-versed, and well-versed does not mean, you can only refer to yourself as well-versed and well-rounded if you can attach A, B, C, and D to yourself. Definitely 26. I was about to say 27, sorry, 26 letters of the alphabet, right? So any combination of those, right? And you get multiple. So you're multifaceted, multidimensional. And so while they're like different like cycles or rotations, right? So just as concepts, right? Concepts that are in rotation. And so just as the concept that we're discussing tonight, that being, each deposit into your life is set to be a bucket you'll need to pull from or withdraw later, somewhere down the road, somewhere down the line, is in rotation. There are others like to every action, there's a reaction that's also, in effect. And so again, while not agreeing at all with our oppressors that deemed our ancestors seeking their own freedom, and deeming that to be wrong and reprimanding them for that, that concept was in rotation right along the lines of the fact that, because what we'll do is we'll get stuck that, well, dang, they got reprimanded for that, so that must have been wrong. That is the mindset that has kept us oppressed for so long. That is not where we're supposed to get stuck. That is not what we're supposed to see. That if anything, all these resumes, y'all see these images, it erases all of them. That mindset there erases all of them. It erases any step that we have taken forward. How any of the steps that we have taken backwards, right? Any steps, any movement that we have made, it erases all of it. If we get in the mindset of seeing, oh, this happened because we or someone, a part of us did that, so someone else reprimanded them for it, oh, that must have been wrong. That is why you need to mind your own ministry. That is why you need to keep your mouth off of people. I'm talking literally and figuratively, mostly figuratively at this moment. But, for you to speak on people and judge and I always say prejudge, because we're not the ones that's supposed to do the judgment anyway. So we're prejudging, someone, which automatically it should make you think prejudice, right? Because that's definitely for the folks that believe that Black people can't be racist, or can be, at the very least, Black folk definitely can be prejudiced. We have them. Every group of people has them, because it's about it's based on toward another group of people, right? It's all of ignorance, okay? The lack of knowledge, not knowing. I know we have our own definition of ignorance, but and so with that, like, we'll get stuck and think like, not understanding that it's multidimensional, the world that we live in, even back then, right? That, well, if this, I'm a slave, that they're a slave, they ran off, they got caught, they got I'm using the example, got their foot cut off, or got something, horrible, got beaten, they had to work extra hours, whatever the case may be, got sold off, or their children were sold off, from just all the horrible things that our ancestors endured. And when we have those that will see us, and I don't want to call them weak-minded, but in this day and age, we have to call out what it is. In this day, I wouldn't even badmouth really any of our ancestors, especially those that were in slavery. I just don't want to. Just out of pure respect, right? Respect. I'm big on it. And so, but just thinking of us in nowadays, in this day and age, we'll see something like, oh, this group went to rally and protest for this cause, and they got this, or they, that people are, especially when we get stuck on just what people say, like words. I get it. And words mean a lot to me as well. So hurtful words definitely hurt. I get that. But come on, when you weigh out and balance out the bigger picture, versus what's being said, what opinion, it only becomes a societal norm once we work it and really believe it. An opinion is just that. Now, if you believe the opinion, who's the fool? The person with the opinion, or the person that believed the clear opinion? Right? Like, it just clearly, if it was a blatant opinion, you decided to believe it. So you're the fool. Let me help you out there, because I know I asked a rhetorical question, but let me answer it for you, because I do not want you walking around here trying to figure out the answer to that. Okay. And so again, keeping in mind that our world is multidimensional. It's not one-dimensional. Again, if we see that somebody got reprimanded for something, then that must mean that all of this was for naught. All of this is in vain. Void everything. We don't need to do it. Erase the resume. Every part, every deposit that's been made, just erase it. No, do away with it. We need to throw in the towel. Quit now. Absolutely not. That's not the case at all. Our world is multidimensional. So to every action, there's a reaction. Unfortunately, our oppressors, in that same scenario, our oppressors deemed it fit to reprimand someone that was seeking their own freedom, not wanting to, there's the other concept, not that the oppressor, just blinded, and I'm gonna get to that and touch on that in a second, but blinded by the fact that they couldn't even see that this is wrong anyway. So why are you mad that I'm mad about these conditions that I'm in? how to make that make sense, right? And so all these different concepts in rotation, and so we'll get stuck at just one of them, not understanding that there are going to be multiple things, just as, you know, everything can be worked out for my good. I'm jumping ahead myself, but hold on just a minute. I'm coming, y'all. And so they all, as in whatever rotations you find yourself a part of, fall under the umbrella of everything happens for a reason, right? And it's why then you work the other concept and idea of that, you know, you find a positive out of everything, out of every negative, find a positive, right? Because it's to get you to the point of finding out why. Okay, I'm jumping ahead of myself too. Wait a minute. Hold on, let me slow it down. Life's journey is about you figuring out why in order to appropriately put the pieces together, right? Remember, I always say and believe that our oppressors and their descendants' biggest dilemma is that they can't seem to put the pieces together. Our mission is to find the why. Yet, we often talk about being stuck. We often find ourselves stuck asking why when that's our job, right? So meanwhile, our oppressors are never asking why. They're doing wrong and they just do it, okay? So if we're doing right, if we're trying to right wrongs and we're doing right, you know, trying to fight the dark with the light, but yet we're asking permit, like, can I give you a little light? I see his dog over there. Is that all right? No. No. Beloved, give that light. Just give it. Just give it. And we want to complain like, I'm giving all this light. It doesn't mean you're turning dark. You're making room for more light to come in. Come on, I'm saying something now. All right, I'm gonna move on. Trump. You know, remember your little president number? Trump, I am sure, never asked, why don't they like me? I'm pretty sure he never asked that. I am on board right now. 99.9999976.3732779 and a half decimal point 6. Sure. That he never asked that question. Okay. While some will look upon him and deem him successful. Right? Remember, he has plenty of followers. He had billions of people, right? Billions, at least millions. I can't even remember what the numbers were. I think it was billions that voted for him. You know what I mean? that support him. Like, still to this day, by the way, just saying. Careful. Remember, watch the weirdos online, man. But would we want to strive to be like him? No. So I'm not here to make that argument. Wow, side note, I do really enjoy, which is very interesting to live through this time, because I used to enjoy like the controversial like debates and stuff. I was never on the debate team, but definitely enjoyed these like conversations and sabbaticals and stuff. That folks, you know, like would want to talk about like, oh, who's a good leader, right? I always loved that question in school. And then they would list, of course, we learned about like Hitler and stuff. So they would list Hitler and all that. And people like, oh, definitely not. Here I come, like, well, technically, right? So it's crazy like to live during the time of Trump. It's like, well, technically, you know, now the thing is about a good and positive leader, you know, like with a positive, you know, objective and all, then that's where we can argue that. But good leader, let's think about it. You got some people that smile on you and you making, you know, you move. All right, I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm leaving it alone. Just saying. There are people that believe this man was successful, right? Especially if they think, you know, just money wise, right? He has a lot of money. But it all, of course, it boils down to what each person. So that's why it's okay to question your friend's definition and the people around you's definition of successful. It's okay to question that. So meeting people online, it's okay to ask them that. That's a good icebreaker. Hey, what's your definition of successful? Now, mind you, I'm telling y'all this, and I don't. I definitely even put on the Facebook date, they make you update something where it's like a little extra something that you tell them. They tell you, I think it's on there. And like if somebody, like if y'all match, then they can see this. And it's like, oh yeah, it's better. Like you answer the question, like, how do they initiate? That's the word I'm looking for. Initiate content. Would you like to be the person? Would you rather them? I always say for them too. Because I'm not jumping to nobody. I think I've maybe said hi once. Anyway, but so I'm giving y'all that, and I'll be terrible like keeping the conversation going. That's why I know it's like whoever it is, it's just they gonna know to just keep it flowing for me, and then I'm in there. I can talk all day, but Y'all wouldn't even believe it. Like, I'd be terrible. Like, hi, okay, yeah, still. Moving on. And so, but that's a good conversation starter, isn't it? Like, what's your definition of successful? Oh, okay. You can really weed some people out right there. Like, money, all money. Oh, is that it? That's all? Don't you have kids? So being a good dad. Okay, moving on. As believers, we are to understand that all that is meant for us has already been prepared for us, right? And so that's why it has always hit home for me, hearing that he knew me well before he formed me in my mother's womb. I know I said that earlier, but just whenever I hear that, whenever I think of that, it moves me, man. Like, you really prepared my steps, right? So someone comes to mind, when someone comes to mind, so does something about them, right? And so when God knew you well before you were formed in your mother's womb, or even before you were even a thought on earth, he also knew all that he had already had in store for you to do and to be, right? Knowing that it was on us to travel a path, a journey, to get our promised proportion. If we have any word, the B word of the, oh Lord, let me not say the B word of the day. Woo, I cracked myself up. I should say the word of the day. B's word of the day. I don't know. This B's the word of the day. I don't know. I'm trying to make a little funky slogan for it. It's promised proportion, or promised portion, rather, not proportion. Promised portion. Keep that in mind. Promised portion. Sleep on that. Chew on that tonight. Come back to me next week and let me know if anything came to you with that one, right? Promised portion. We out here asking why. Whole time God like, why are you asking me? Yeah, that's for you to do. Call me later, right? You ever feel like you've been asking the same, like, oh, my answers ain't been prayer. My answers ain't been prayer. My questions, my prayers haven't been answered. Like, with my questions that I got, like, he ain't saying what's going on. I can't hear from him. It's because you're stuck asking the wrong question. I'll even admit, so I say we, when I said that we be stuck asking why, but truthfully, like, if I really speak about myself, my question has always been the when. So remember, I said, and I've said time and time before, that sometimes we can get stuck even doing the right thing, thinking that we're doing the right thing. That's why this thing called life, baby, is interesting. And that's why it blows my mind to understand that people are really out here doing it without God. Like, baby, I need some Jesus up in it, because Jesus won't have to make it make sense. If something about it, and to the atheist, or to the person that truly just does not believe in the concept of religion, or in God, or just anything, right? So if they fall into any of those categories, that they can easily look at, or just anyone, also another category to add is anyone that can study religion, right? Study belief systems, and be able to refer to, whatever the higher being and the creator that each respective religion believes in and prays to, and serves under, is that it's irrational, right? They see belief system as just irrational. Jesus, you just gonna say all this stuff happened, and Jesus came down. That's irrational to believe. Okay, guess what? There's a lot of irrational about life. So if that's what helps you, then let that be the irrational thing about your life. Like, there's a lot of irrational stuff, but you know what? If because I've given my life and claim him and believe in him as my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, okay, as the one true living God, the living water, honey, now I get to just chuck it all up under, hey, listen, none of this makes sense to you, and that's okay, because you say you're not a believer yet. I pray that you are one day. All this that don't make sense to you about my life, I'm gonna just put it under him, okay? Because you say he don't make sense. So that's on you. That's hey, I respect that for you. I want more for you, but I do respect that for you. Not for me, baby. I know what I know. Okay. So just, it blows my mind though that, like I said, people do life without Jesus, because I need him. right? I need him to make things make sense for me. And when I pray, when I fast, when I read the word, like I have to do better. And I'll be honest, and I'm in trainings and everything, and I'm admitting that I have to do better at reading his word, reading and studying his word every day. Not just, when I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, let me get to it. No, every day that's where my blessings come from. That's where my clarity comes from. Like, it's amazing. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And so, but all of that to say that there are still some of us, like I said, there it is. Sorry, I didn't say this yet. I was about to, is that I used to get stuck on the when versus the why, right? A lot of people get stuck on why. I get stuck on the when. So I'll be like, oh, yeah, God, I believe. Mm-hmm. I believe, absolutely. Which, okay, right? Not realizing that now I'm believing with limitations. Because I would tell myself like, well, I know that I'm, supposed to go through some things. Got it. My life is not my own. So it's like what I'm experiencing is for me to be able to, be a blessing, to other people, maybe to relate to their story, be able to speak to their circumstance, hopefully to just, bring some encouragement, some empowerment, some uplifting, whatever the case may be, later on down the road, not knowing any of these people. So when I even pray and cover for the souls that I'm connected to, right? Believing that I may not even know them yet, right? I could know none of them, or maybe I could just know some of them, but there are others, right? And so, I would get stuck on like well, when? Like, Lord, I know I'm supposed to go through this. That's fine. All right. It don't feel good, but all right, go ahead. I know my help is coming because you said, remember we said alongside, he promised that he would, he's working everything out for our good. All of that is good and everything has a reason. Got it. But when is my relief coming, Lord? When? Hello? No? Okay. All right. Hello? You didn't? Okay. Call you back. Right. So, I would get stuck on the when, and that was still wrong. Right. I had to just come to that conclusion, understanding again, that I was finally coming to grips in terms with the fact that I was believing with limitations. If you're going to believe in somebody, but limited, there's no question that you love them with conditions, whereas we are to love like Jesus, and he loves us unconditionally. Like I said, he even covers the people that don't even believe in him. That's some love, because imagine the people, we be talking all the haters and this and that. Imagine the people that don't even hate you. They just don't deal with you. Like that would be me. Like there are me's out here. I know there's more than one of me. Like I'm the person that, whether if we've had something or not, you know what I mean? If there's been a thing or not, that it doesn't mean I hate you. I just don't deal with you. It's okay. I'll cover you in prayer though, but right? We'll get into that in a second. After this commercial break, be right back.
Philip, come on now, Philip, I need you to come. Philip, come on now, Philip, I need you to come down here and help me work this phone. I don't know how to work this cell service. Come on, I gotta get ready. I want to go to bingo. What's this? Didn't I just talk to you? All right, I told you. The butler did it. October the 1st, next Friday, 8:00 p.m. Get your pajamas, get your family. Come on and watch the movie with us. I done gave you all this information already. I got to get ready to go down to bingo, down to the Catholic Church, and you are holding me up. I don't want to see you no more. And so Friday, 8:00, Facebook, YouTube, watching live with all of us, the butler did it. All right? Now let me go get dressed. Let me put my myrtle lips on. I'll talk to y'all later.
Can train and certify over 10,000 students in 10 years. We can renovate over 10,000 houses in 10 years. This is the Inner City Trade School Project, sponsored by Get With The Program. It's our time and it's our turn.
I feel like once we address the needs of the students, we can ensure that they'll be successful in the program.
The main idea is to know the safety of the program. And
Do Black Lives Matter? Yes, yes. We're going to show you how much Black Lives Matter because we have the solution to the problem.
This school will help change the mindset of our young Black men.
And that's what we're trying to do, bring pride back to our community.
Substance use, anger management, mental health.
So here at the Inner City Trade School, that's what we're trying to build. That's what we're trying to create, an environment for our people to thrive.
So happy to see one of my Bees Homes family members today. I want to get back on the station, but I definitely want to run my ad for my business on Bees Homes Radio. They are attached to so many different businesses and great entities here in the city. If you have a business, you definitely want to put your business out there, commercial, shout out, anything, and sponsor one of the great shows that's on Bees Homes Radio.
All right, welcome back. So I'm gonna jump right back into it. So it's talking about the fact that when you believe with limitations, to me, I feel as though that's synonymous and would tell me that then you love with conditions, right? So believing with limitations means that you love with conditions. And as believers, again, we are to love unconditionally. We're to love as Jesus loves us, which he loves us unconditionally. And so we have to be able to distinguish the fact that it's the world that taught us to love, with limits. And be clear, loving unconditionally and being wise can be a thing. Loving unconditionally and being wise can be a thing, right? So just don't think that, it can't, I'm jumping ahead. Give me a second. So I was just wrong because right? So I'm gonna take it on, I'm put it on me. I ain't gonna talk to y'all, to put it on y'all. Talk about me, that I wanted to love openly. And is what I kept saying, right? And the power of words, child. There's a difference. Openly means carefree. Unconditionally with wisdom is understanding the assignment, like y'all love to say nowadays, right? Where tough love needs to be applied. Remember I told y'all I have a best friend that I'm no longer best friends with anymore because I know in my heart of hearts, and I've been able to let it go. Still, sucks, but I've had to let it go. It's like, well, our last conversation was me literally not even tough love, but just trying to be that best friend. That's my job, is it not? To love on you, to play, to, when I party, to part, all of that. But if I can't also be the person that is the sound bar for the things that you need to hear, and it coming from a person that loves you, right? That's loving unconditionally and wisely, right? Or wisely loving unconditionally, I guess would be the phrase. And so, you know where to apply the tough love, right? Because tough love is still love, right? That's where we often fall short, thinking God don't love us or have our backs, right? When all that we may have experienced is some tough love, So I feel like he's saying hey, my child, I know this doesn't feel good, but I need you to be able to get, this over here in its entirety. So I'm going to need you to go through this right here for the moment. That's just what I need, right? It's what I need because that's what you need. I need you to get that, right? I got you though. It's going to work out for your good. I promise. So some jobs, some places we've lived, some cars we've driven, even some people we've met that once seemed like a blessing, then at some point, turned out to be a burden. And that's a tough transition, right, to deal with. But yet, to keep in mind, it was still all working out for our good. All of it. So remember I said the word earlier was deposits, right? These were different deposits in our lives. So to understand if it was all working out for our good, y'all know I love to play on words. I call them depositives. Depositives. And, you figure out why you think it probably happened, and try to imagine what it could mean is coming and hold on to that. That's a depositive, right? So you again, our path in life, our journey in life is to figure out the why. So that's why we're seeking our purpose. And it's not necessarily to fulfill our lives, but fulfilling our purpose, the purpose that was set and called upon our lives. Again, well before we formed our mother's womb, well before we were a thought on the earth, that there's purpose in mind for us, meaning there's purpose work for us to do. And so it's for us to find that out. You can have your passion. Your passion is not going to fulfill your purpose. It takes both. And you really doing something if you're passionate about your purpose work. Amen. Just saying. And so again, like depositives is about, figuring out, the why, figure out why you think whatever the it is that has happened, the it's with an S, or, plural rather, how many different it's and things that have happened, to you, but now really figuring out why they've happened for you. So these resume building, because of where you'll see that, I used to work at one place, and this is just an example. I used to work at one place here and I worked there, I don't really understand why. I don't feel like that was aligned with, what I'm trying to do and all that, but it was, good for me. It seemed to really fall into my lap, seemed to be a God thing. And then also, it's there for a certain amount of time, then it became a burden. I'm out of that now. Now here's some time that passed by, whatever you do in the meantime, some time down the road. And I was like, I'm able to use this skill that I feel like I wouldn't have learned any other place that I've been, any other place that I've worked. I learned this particular skill. I actually had the time to master and foster my growth and development during the time at this particular place that I didn't necessarily think was meant for my good. But here it is working out for me down the road. These depositives, right? Figuring out why you think it probably happened and try to imagine what it could mean of what's coming. So when you go through things and something, you feel like you lost something that changed drastically and all of that, you got to get to a place of belief and faith, understanding that, it must be something good coming, baby. Something good coming. And it's either now it's for me to, seek and reflection time to find out, what am I supposed to do in this meantime, in the hallway, praising him in the hallway, right? Before he opens this new door. Does he need me, quiet? Does he need me isolated? Does he need me fasting, turning down my plate? Does he need me fasting from other things like social media or, video game, just whatever I do, fasting from other habits. Like, the devices that we, would participate in or partake in, to help us to what we think of helping us, right? Do I need to just do different things in order to find out what it is that I'm supposed to do in this time, knowing that something is coming because of what has happened or is happening to me? I hope you caught that. Replay that. Amen. Send this one to, make sure I like sharing the show in general, definitely the show, send it to somebody that you feel like definitely needs to hear this, right? How in school, like if you had the right answer, whether if it was, the norm that you had the right answer, or if it was seldom, right? If you barely raise your hand and you shoot your hand up in the air all fast, and hoping the teacher will call on you, right? And it either goes two ways. You get called on, give your answer, hopefully it's right, or not get called on and get mad, right? And remember, because that's the person that's definitely, right? So it's one of those two. And so what about if you figured out the right answer and held on to it, whether you were called on or not? sometimes, so you know how we have this debate about, I know it's usually like dating when people tell me, oh, you know, you posting people over the face, cover the face. That is so annoying, but to each his own. But when we figure things out, it's really the thing about when good things happen, you know, to us or happening for us, and while they're still being worked out and massaged out and worked through when the plan is coming together. Maybe it's not always, you know, best for us to post it and blast it, or to be very cautious of who we share it with. Are you even in your meditation time, in your prayer time, in your reflection time? As I'm sitting here slouching, y'all, I'm tearing my back up lately. But, you know, in your reflection time, are you seeking, you know, are you listening for the release of your tongue to share even if it's great news or if it's bad, whatever, just your news. I know even with all that I shared with y'all during Testimony Thursday, like I think I mentioned it then, I was not released to even talk about it so much. And at first I thought it was just, of me being me. Like I ain't really trying to talk about my stuff because people can't really help me. Like I know I'm being forced to lean on the everlasting hand of God, amen. And to let him, you know, show me like, where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to like work through these different, you know, just things, right? Because I still have work to do, even though I'm being worked and tried on, okay? And still knowing that what is working out for my good. I know that, I like without a shadow of a doubt. And so I always put myself in the teacher's shoes, understanding, I used to always put myself in the teacher's shoes, understanding that they had to try and get everyone to participate and try and capture everyone's attention. So if I wasn't called on, that simply wasn't my time. We don't listen for the time, like I said, for the release of us releasing something, and then we'll get stuck in, like I said before, about these multi-dimensions, we'll get stuck and lose sight of the overall, the bigger picture. We'll get stuck there because one thing happened. One person was reprimanded for, you know, doing the very thing that we feel as though that all of us should be doing. So now it makes the rest of us not want to do it, but it should make us all want to come together even tighter to fight for this particular cause, right? And playing off of and bringing together all these different skill sets and assets to the team, you know, for the greater good. And whatever this means for you, if this means your family coming together, if this means some turmoil has been happening on your job that you feel like you're led to be the one to lead, you know, the revolution, the peace resolution, whatever the case may be, like wherever it is, if it's in your marriage, your relationship, for your children, if it's at their school, whatever you feel, wherever this falls. And then always, we know for Black and brown folk or anybody of color, there's a greater cause for all of us anyway, even if we feel like we ain't been doing it, right? So just saying. And so just before we get out of here, my last few notes, that, like I said, you know, that it just simply wasn't my time when I would think of the teacher and think in their shoes, put myself in their shoes, right? That was a job within itself, trying to get everybody to participate, to establish or to gain everyone's attention, and then to maintain it. Like, you know, so it was back to believing without limitations. Believe without limitations. I told y'all a while ago, get back to hoping and dreaming and write those down. Whatever you're hoping and dreaming for, pray on those. When you meditate, when you reflect on those, go back to those, date them too. Date your reflections, date your hopes, date your dreams. You're welcome. Okay. You have to graduate your belief to trust in his timing, y'all. Of course, Benia I would want to be married right now, laid up my husband, but I would want to just do that. So, you know, you got to get me to work, and my wheels got to be churning when I'm running to him, when he run into me. Like, gotta be, because I'm just want to do that. Like, I know how to, you know, manage and be an octopus, sure, but I do get to my point in time, like, I've been octopusing for a while now. So now I want to just be laid out my husband. No, that's not how I go either. I gotta do both, right? Multi-dimensional, multifaceted. And so when you feel like you're not hearing from him, when you're not hearing, like I said earlier, you know, hearing your prayers being answered, you can call on him some more. It's not for you to stop, like, well, I ain't saying nothing, so I'm just leave him alone. No, don't think he's ignoring you. You may need to reroute your approach, asking for redirection, confirmation, etc. Even okay to ask what you need to do in order to hear from him. You literally can take everything and be like, hey, Lord, I feel like I'm not hearing from you. Is it something I need to do? He'll reveal to you like, oh, I need to probably stop doing this. Got it. and that's working out for you. Because maybe like a while ago I told y'all, like, but well before I thought I was ever going to have my own like podcast, he was helping me just to work on like my language. I wouldn't want to turn off anybody just for how, if I were to be offensive in how I spoke. Like I really pray that y'all get something from what God gives me to share with y'all every week, right? It could very well be that you were wasting your prayers asking, why is this happening to you? Or asking him to take it away from you, when maybe you could have been asking him to get in that thing with you, to help you figure it out. Faith, belief, and trust is what you need to align this week, and apply it to whatever your it or thing is. See where that gets you. If just a little reassurance or more peace than you had in your situation, you're making progress. I mean it. Shout out to my good sis before I get out of here. Good sis Jasmine. It is her birthday on Saturday, and she is having her Queen Me birthday and relaunch picnic on Sunday. Baby, get on Eventbrite and look for Queen Me with Queen MEE. Y'all, it's going to be amazing. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm really excited. She had a lot of good stuff going on. So I love y'all. I mean it. Remember, faith, belief, and trust is what you need to align this week, and apply it. Until next week, peace.